Hi again everyone, I hope you are all doing really well. So despite my thoughts on wanting to wait for more financial data to appear and for the short interest to drop away before making my decision on whether or not to invest in Marin Software long term, I am now holding a 500 share position in the stock. What? The reason for this is due to a few factors, including a more attractive stock price being available, a recent release from the company, and an attractive price target that has come out from an analyst. Add to this mix my diminished mental state from literally being half asleep, and there you have it, my new position in Marin Software. So in this video, I plan to go through all of this information, discuss the nature of my trade, and give some thoughts on what I plan to do with the stock moving forward, while also speaking about the upcoming release of financial data from the company, as well as the present state of the short interest. But before I do that, I want to quickly mention that I normally say this at the end, but I think it is worth promoting from the start, given that many viewers tend to drop off partway through videos. That is, I have announced that I am planning on setting my channel up as a social enterprise going forward, with the idea being if and when it does become monetized, I want to move profits from the channel towards some causes I am passionate about. So by watching and following the channel, people are helping make a difference at no financial cost to themselves. I think it is a great opportunity to use YouTube for good and make a difference to some causes which I feel passionate about. So I encourage you to subscribe and be a part of that. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into the latest from Marin Software. Now, in my last video on Marin Software, I did look at this article which included a valuation and speak about its merits in some detail. In brief, because Marin is only a small company, it is not as widely covered by brokers and analysts. So generally speaking, it would be useful to see other brokers covering it to get a more moderated take on what the company is worth. However, I will again link this article in the video description. So as you can see, the valuation given here was $14 per share as a target price. Looking at some other elements to do with this, Marin Software closed on Friday at $7.84, which brings its market capitalization to below $100 million again, so making the company worth $86 million. When you consider that the company has $15 million in cash and total equity of $17 million on their books right now, and then you factor in the future earning capacity of the business, $7.84 per share seems to be a fairly attractive entry point for buying the stock. And to me at least, that makes me think that the price target of $14 is actually not that unrealistic and is probably quite achievable. And we have even seen the price go beyond that in recent trading history. However, we do have to consider that part of that was due to a short squeeze push. Now, jumping into a bit of a technical analysis quickly, we've got our line that we drew the other day representing the $40 price point, which in the scheme of Marin Software's huge market rally on the back of becoming targeted for a short squeeze by retail traders and on the back of their release of integrating their offering with Instacart, we have also been seeing a decent decline over the past 2.5 weeks. So I suppose the main point we can see from here is that that $14 price target has actually been in the trading range in the recent history of the company. Zooming in on July's trade, what is pretty interesting to me is that for 2 consecutive sessions, the stock actually was in oversold territory, that being on Friday the 16th and Monday the 19th of July. Interestingly, there was not a whole lot of dissent in the share price from this point in this period in the scheme of things. Now, moving in even closer and focusing on this period of being oversold, I've placed an upper line on where the stock was when it began to fall into oversold territory on the RSI, and I've placed a lower line for the lowest point Marin Software got to during its extended oversold period, which is around the $7.60 mark. I think this line is showing some good lower resistance at the moment. It held strong when the stock was heavily oversold, and then again during Friday's late sell-off, it resisted but did not test this mark. Now, I bought into Marin Software in the last hour of trade on Friday because I was firstly half asleep, as it was about 4:30 a.m. in the morning here in Australia, and I kept thinking that I could double my money if it does go to 14 anytime soon. And I was feeling particularly bullish about the stock in my half asleep state. At that point, I hadn't drawn this blue line. I just felt like the stock was struggling to fall any lower at the time. Now, looking at this lower line, I'm hoping that this is as far down as it's going to go. It will be interesting because at the time of this recording, Asian and European trading sessions have been fairly negative, so I am hoping this is not a sign of things to come. but if so, it could provide a good test for this lower level of resistance. The next thing I want to take a quick look at is the information released from Marin Software from Thursday. That came out in the aftermarket session, which at least sent the stock up in pre-market and early trade on Friday. I put the condensed release on screen, but what the release was that Marin Software compiled 3 detailed customer case studies on how their platform helped deliver value and improve returns for some select clients. I'll just highlight the main points of that now. So they have the introductory spiel here where it's digital marketers are looking for the best performance from their marketing investments and advanced bidding at the heart of delivering results. The Marin 1 bidding algorithm can be used across channels, including the latest additions like Instacart, LinkedIn, and Apple search ads. There's also this highlight that the CEO makes, saying that as the big platforms get increasingly solid, advertisers can no longer rely on publisher tools alone. They need a platform like Marin 1 to help integrate their efforts for the results. So then they talk about a few case studies here, which they go into more detail on their website. But one was Paddy Power Betfair, and they were looking to improve the efficiency of their Apple search ads campaigns and reduce the time they were spending each week bidding manually. We tested Marin 1 bidding on Apple search ads, and our CPAs came down by 30%. Our CPCs became more manageable, and we were able to free up budget to reinvest in additional growth opportunities. We're thrilled with the results, and we plan to keep using Marin 1 bidding on other lines of business in the future. Another company they did a case study on was Blast Analytics, who were promoting their services on LinkedIn marketing services and turned to Marin 1 to increase the ROI of their investment, resulting in a 23% increase in conversion rate. The other case study they talk about is a company called Storable, a technology provider of a $38 billion self-storage industry, and they were looking for a different third-party solution to manage their bidding, but wanted to find a tool that better incorporated their customer lifetime value data, optimizing against multiple inputs. The Marin professional services team connected their move in rate data with customer net present value. This full funnel solution outperformed the competition. And there's a quote here saying, "I am truly grateful for the solution Marin built for us. I'm happy to say that Storable is a Marin customer, and I hope will remain one for years to come." So they're highlighting that a lot of customers are finding longer term value in the Marin 1 platform. I guess the case studies show how Marin Software can deliver real value to their clients. It gives some clear demonstrations on how they have been able to deliver improved results in a landscape that they appreciate is changing, reinforcing that Marin Software is a market leader in their niche category. This sort of release may help them to attract further users of their platform, as they present potentially a greater value proposition rather than firms manually selecting their platforms and bidding for advertising. So obviously this release from Marin Software has more of a marketing flavor rather than anything materially significant. We'll have to wait until aftermarket on Friday to see Marin Software's latest financial data. Speaking to this, I really can't say if these numbers are going to be better than the previous quarters or not, which to be honest were not great given the context which they were operating in, given the lockdowns the world was basically undergoing. So there was a slowdown in the business landscape. However, there is still cause for an optimistic outlook for the company, and this will obviously be a more important release than their case studies that came out on Thursday in terms of determining the immediate financial condition of the company. I'm honestly expecting these results to be better than the June quarter. The big question though for the market is, will they be deserving enough to reflect the now vastly improved stock price that the company has? Just finally and very quickly, I want to revisit the shorts data on Marin Software, as this is still a major factor for the company's stock price. So despite declining from over 50% towards the end of last week, at 47% of the outstanding float currently shorted, Marin Software is still the most shorted stock on the market. However, I would at least temporarily be feeling a bit worried if I were a short seller, as the stock may indeed be at a low point. So if they are holding out for lower prices to cash out at, it might be a bit more of a struggle to achieve this. And at 82% per annum, Marin Software would still be one of the most expensive stocks to short. In fact, it actually comes in at 192nd of all stocks that are tradable. For those of us that are long, this is a little bit sad because it used to be in the top 6 just a few weeks ago. I think the strong short interest will be a major factor for the stock in the immediate future, but if Marin can present some good numbers on Friday, I think this might be the catalyst to see the overall short trade interest in the stock decline longer term. So some final thoughts. At the current stock prices, I am feeling quite bullish. I have increasingly liked the sound of Marin Software's value proposition And once the short interest goes away, I think there is good runway for further stock price and company growth in the future. Not that that's determined by the short interest. This week, I will likely look to sell out of my position if I can get a decent jump in the stock price before Friday. However, I may hold some of the profit in shares because I believe that right now is potentially a good value point to buy the stock at. I am happy to day trade the stock a little more in the meantime, and if the numbers look good on Friday, then I think I will finalize my decision on how aggressively I will continue or taper or abandon my accrual of Marin Software stock. I think the prospect of getting $14 per share from the current $7.84 mark is an attractive one. However, I am mindful that in the immediate future, i.e. this week, many of the big tech companies are also releasing their financial results prior to Friday. These companies and their results actually have the ability to swing market sentiment broadly in favor or against other tech companies such as Marin Software. Add in the short interest, I think it's going to be yet another twist on the Marin Software rollercoaster ride this week. Anyway, what do you guys think? Is it time to buy Marin Software? Do you think the Friday financial release will be a good one? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you found this video interesting or useful, I would encourage you to leave a like. Also, if you want to see more Marin Software updates or other stock related content, I would encourage you to subscribe to the channel. If you have not done so already, I try to get content of this nature out more or less every day. Like I said at the start, I've announced that I am planning on setting my channel up as a social enterprise going forward, with the idea being that if and when it does become monetized, I want to move profits towards some causes which I do feel passionate about. So the value proposition for you guys is either by watching or just following the page, you are actually helping to make a difference at no financial cost to yourself. I think it's a great opportunity to use YouTube for a tool for good and change. So I encourage you to subscribe and be a part of that. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I will see you all next time. May the markets trade in your favor. Cheers.